Good morning. So I am back again today because I've had a lot of things on my heart this morning. So my name is Marasia, and I just like to talk about medicine for the heart, medicine for the soul. I'm an herbalist, spiritual herbalist, and I do a lot of other things. But what brings me here is mainly that piece. Excuse me. So I'm a lover of synchronicities. Everything is synchronicity to me. Anytime those moments happen, I don't know, my heart just kind of like smiles. So I was at a bookstore with my mom the other day, yesterday actually, and we saw a copy of Braiding Sweetgrass. Now, Braiding Sweetgrass is one of my favorite books. I just love the poetic sound, the poetic vibe she has when she's talking about the earth, when she's talking about plants, and she's talking about nature and her elders and ancestors and all those things. And I love how it naturally flows. I love how it feels when I read it. And so I saw the hardback version of it, and it was a very beautiful cover. Like, it looks different from the other version of the book that I have, the paperback, or however you say that, soft cover that I have. And I was like, okay, I really want this, but I'm not gonna get it today. But I just couldn't stop looking at it. So when I got home, I felt like there was something that I needed to do, something that I was supposed to be working on, but I just couldn't think about what it was. And so once I got really sleepy early, and I was like, well, I guess I'm about to go to bed. But I was like, no, let me sit here in my little sacred space and, do something before I go to bed. And I could not stop writing. Like, I was preparing for an event. So there's an event that I want to do and host, and I started preparing for that. And then I thought about a quote from one of the books I read during my apprenticeship, and I was like, oh, that's perfect for this event. But then I couldn't find that quote. When I grabbed that book, the book for that quote, I grabbed Braiding Sweetgrass too. And I couldn't find the quote I was looking for, but when I opened Braiding Sweetgrass, it was talking about the same exact thing that I wanted to do this event on. And so I was like, okay, synchronicity. And I want to start back reading it. I feel like it's inspiring this new season, this transition. And so that happened. And so this morning I sat outside. I brought Braiding Sweetgrass with me, and I started highlighting. I started at the beginning, and I started highlighting and all those things. And then I have been feeling kind of like icky for the last month. Like, I think it's the heat and the humidity, all that. But every time I shower, and I feel like it's not enough. And washing my hair multiple times, I feel like it's not enough. So I was like, okay, there's something like lingering around. There's something irritable in my spirit. And I've just been feeling, I was like, okay, we probably need to just let it go. Let's do some echinacea. Anytime that happens, it's like almost like I'm about to get sick, or there's just things around. So I was like, okay, let's drink some echinacea. And so I did last night. And then this morning, while I was sitting there reading Braiding Sweetgrass, I was like, I watched my dog, and she was eating my echinacea plant. And I'm like, that's not something she normally eats. So she's been eating it for the last few days. And it really clicked with me. I'm like, okay, echinacea wants to be included into the practice for a little bit. And there's a reason for it. And so, of course, I go to my spiritual herbalism book, and echinacea, from what I had remembered about it already, I knew it was a natural antibiotic, and I knew that it was for like removing unwanted energies from you. But it really didn't click to me until I read that section again. And it was talking about like, what is it that you need to exercise from your life? It talks about how indigenous people use echinacea for snake bites to extract the venom. And so when we think about its power and its use, it's quick and it's exact. It's right to the problem, and it removes it. And so I thought about this dream that I had recently that was very much about like tearing down the walls and admiring who you used to be and letting it inspire your creativity and your art, but getting rid of that which is no longer serving this season or this version of you, honoring the past, letting that die, and moving on. And so all of these things were just kind of coming to my mind and circulating to like some sort of storyline. And it really hit me what the message was about. This is about you moving into your next season authentically and openly. And, we're also at the start of Leo season, which is about like shining. It's about shining your light, shining your truth, having the courage to walk the path with your heart, to lean a courageous heart, like Leo the lion. You know what I mean? And to be courageous, to be brave in being you. And so there's a lot in this season with me, like showing more of who I am and how I want my business to shift, and showing up authentically as that. And so I'm saying all this to say, if you have been feeling an energy of something kind of clinging to you, something that you just can't shake off, or if there's an idea or a way of being or a lifestyle that keeps coming back around to you, and you just haven't been able to clear it, or you've been ignoring it, and there's this feeling within you that like you're not paying attention to something, or something's just like in your vicinity, irritable, that you can't get rid of, it's coming up again. And it's coming up again because it's time for you to embrace it. It's time for you to walk in that path. And, I think that is what courageous bravery, all that is that I'm fearful, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm scared, but I'm going to do it anyway. And so, yeah, there's a new version of myself that wants to be seen and acknowledged as that, even if you don't agree. But I think there's the fear of how will people see that, how will people, experience this, is the word overtly? I don't know, this outward expression of my spirituality and my beliefs, and it intertwining into my business. So it's all of that happening at once. And yeah, that was a really long share, but echinacea is good for you to work with in this season. So if there's anything keeping you from being in your light, anything keeping you from being truthful and authentic, it has to be removed. Like, this is no longer the season of like whenever you're ready, just take your, it's like, no more. It's a very like masculine, I'm not really in the cut off culture, but it's more of like, cut it out. Like, we are no longer doing that. We are no longer showing up like that. No, like almost like the big sister or the big brother who's like, if they're making you be anything other than yourself, why are you around them? And it's not about people, it's about how you exist in the world. So it's a protective energy. Echinacea is definitely about protection. It's protecting the immune system. It's protecting the spirit. It's removing things from your aura, your spirit, that don't align with who you are, that don't align with your heart. It's, we need the protection so that we can still show up. We can still be present in whatever it is that we're being called to do. So that was long, but let's dive into some of the cards. Let's see what we get. I'm thinking of 3 cards. You got 1. Okay. We got 2 and 3. Is there another one? 3. Ooh, oh my goodness. Okay. So the first one you got is balance. And what I see is like marrying the 2 versions, based on what we were talking about, marrying the 2 versions of yourself, marrying the dark and the light, marrying the sun and the moon, the soft and the firm, the gentle and the ambitious. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but marrying all of the versions of yourself, and finding balance in that, finding balance in how you show up, finding balance in how you are in community with yourself. Whenever I see 3, I always think of community, but finding balance in how you're experiencing yourself. And so birch is an old tree. It's about like kind of licking your wounds. It's about being protected in these spaces that feel like wounding, like that feel like you're still feeling some heavy things there. It's protecting you as you're shifting into the new. And so this gives me like elder energy. Yeah, it gives me elder energy in the process of you remembering yourself, in the process of you coming back into yourself. Um, there's so much old wounding. And I feel like it's saying you don't have to worry about the wounds that have been there, because we're gonna handle that for you. Like, you rest through that transition, because those wounds, yes, they were real, yes, those things happen, but they're not allowed to define where you're going and what's next. And so this is like a reminder of, like, you are being protected, those wounds are being healed in the process. And then you have the forest bathing. And I think I talked about this one recently, but forest bathing is really about getting grounded, being nurtured and being grounded. And I think a lot of that happens with the transition of how you're in relationship to this balance. So what I want to do is get a little more on the birch. It's a very grounded energy, so it is about the balance. The birch. Okay. The sun. And so this is about being lifted up. This is about shining. And this is about being lifted up by spirit, by your ancestors, by whoever is putting you in a position to shine. So this talks about not going where the light doesn't shine. And so when I think about these wounds and these things are being nurtured, they're being cared for, they're being healed, but this is your responsibility right here. It's to move into the light, like shine, to do the thing that speaks to you, that calls to you. While this may be in the background, but like it's being soothed, it's being taken care of. And like you have permission to move forward here. And so then for the forest bathing, first one that popped out was choices, but that didn't feel complete. Community. You know, forest bathing is about being grounded and nurtured and taken care of, surrounded by nature and connecting to spirits of the forest to find calm, renewed energy, and well-being. Your soul is longing to feel grounded nourishment. Self-care is often the first thing we disregard when life becomes overwhelming and the to-do list pile up. So it's basically telling you to take care of your body, to rest when needed, and all those things. But the clarification card was crossroads, which is all about choices. And then your garden, which is about your community. It's about being of service. You know, it's that, I think one of the sayings is, it's like heal and take care of your community before it shows up at your doorstep. So it's kind of like everything affects everybody. And so we get to choose how we're doing that care, choosing who we're in community with, but in community with people and energies that nourish our soul, that help to renew, restore our energy. And so you have a choice as to how you exist in community and what you share with your community. But for you, it should feel renewed. It should feel nourishing. It should feel enlightening. It should feel safe. So I'll do one final one. This feels like a short one. One more for the road. One more for the road. What do we got? Okay, am I missing something here? Oh, okay. Spiritual journey. This is about your journey. This is about what you're shifting into. And I know that was part of the conversation at the beginning, was that, like, I feel like I'm being called to a different spiritual place. And, like, how will people receive that if I move into that? And it's telling you, like, that's what you need. Like, the people, you know, one of the things people keep saying to me is, like, you're worried about these 10 people here when there's 500 people over there that are waiting on this message, that are waiting who connect to this person who went through this journey. Things that you've prayed for, that you've asked for, that you've wanted are in the space, are in the community that respects this experience that you've had. And so now I didn't even think about it like that, but there's an experience that you've had, and to be in community with people who can't respect that isn't to be safe. It isn't to be grounded. It isn't to be nourished. And so if that is what you fear, let the fears fall off. You know what I mean? Like, if that is cultivating fear, make the choice. Make the choice to move in alignment with your spiritual journey. And that which falls off was supposed to anyway. It's almost like a friendship community that was built on a lie, because you weren't showing up as you were, or as you truly were, or as you were becoming. They weren't even seeing the process of who you were becoming. And so, yeah, not to fixate on a person. It could even be a community that wasn't ready to see you as you truly were, and you weren't ready to see you as you truly were, but now you are, and now you're ready to show up as that person. Now you're ready to be it fully and in the light. And so you have a choice who you're in community with. You have a choice who creates nourishment in your life, and safety and grounding and all those things. And so you have to honor this journey that you're on. That is your responsibility, is to honor it. And this is how you honor it. You've got to allow yourself to shine. You've got to allow yourself to be in the light, to be seen in this new light, in this new expansive experience of who you are, because you have been on a journey. And to not allow yourself to shine after being on that journey is definitely a self-rejection. It is self-abandonment. And I think that is what the message really is. To worry about anything else other than what this has brought up in you is self-abandonment. And so focus on what this has brought up in you. Like, if you really think about that, like, I went on a trip, I captured all these moments and memories. I want to come back and share people like what that trip experience was. Like, think of vacation. And I saw this person, I did that, I took this picture, this made me feel like this. Like, if you cannot share this in that space, is it in alignment with you anymore? And it sounds like so simple, but I know it's hard to apply, especially when you expand it as a person. You're showing up in the world differently. So honor that. Honor that. Don't abandon yourself. You've already done that before, and you don't need to do it again. You felt what that feels like. And this feels a bit more like freedom. So that is our medicine for today. Or maybe this week, or whenever you watch this. So I appreciate you for listening. I don't think I have anything else. I pray that this sits on your soul in a way that's healing for you. And I will see you next time.